cell phones. We could start with the prayer. Would you like to take care of that for us, Mr. Clemens?
Heavenly Father, we've gathered here tonight, once again doing the people's business. Father, you ask to give us all an attitude of acceptance of each other. You give us all an attitude of wisdom so we can do the right thing that would be pleasing to you. Ask you to illuminate things to us that we need to see and go with us as we leave here to our homes. Pray us all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Pledge to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Livingston Parish Planning Commission meeting for August 1st, 2024. Start, if you could please, with the roll. And I'll call them to orders.
Here.
Mr. Clemens?
Here.
Mr. Watts?
Here.
Mr. Guidry?
Here.
Mr. Wax?
Here.
Mr. Dana?
Here.
Mr. Burns?
Here.
Ms. Ferris?
Here.
Ms. Long?
Here. Okay, first we need an adoption of the minutes from our meeting of July 8th. Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Motion by Ms. Ferris and Mr. Engler has a second. You'll call for the vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Abstain.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay. Item number 6, we have a public hearing for Strawberry Lane RV Park, and this is located in District 9. It's a preliminary site plan. Now, do we have anyone here to represent us? If you'd please state your name and sign in.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Rudy Sinco. I'm with McLennan Taylor. And we developed this preliminary site plan that y'all have before y'all. This site is a 34.5 acre tract. It is a currently wooded site. There's 2 existing ponds on this site. I believe one or both of them were used as borrow pits for the construction of the interstate. The owners are proposing an RV park with 84 spots with some amenities, bike paths, potentially a splash pad, some bath and laundries, and amenities to serve this park. They do intend to do their best to keep this track wooded as much as possible. The spaces are a little further spaced out than some. So that's what they want. They want to make this an attraction with the ponds and bike paths and things of that nature. That's my quick little summary on it. And if y'all have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Okay. First, do we have any comments from anyone that are here tonight? Okay. How about commission members? It's not a public hearing.
Can we make comments now?
Yes,
or is it
that's what,
strictly for the-
no, for y'all. Yeah.
I have a question, Mr. Rudy.
Yes, sir.
On the bottom part of the drawing, you got 3 typical, typical pavement section, typical asphalt, and typical aggregate pavement section. Are
Yes, sir.
all these RV pads are going to be asphalt or just aggregate or?
Right now, they're looking at being, the pads being aggregate, possibly.
Things
And-
are, I mean,
What's that?
you looking at all of them being aggregate?
I think that's the current plan right now, but they're still doing some research into that and studies, figuring out what would best suit the renters.
The reason why the symbols is the same for aggregate and pavement. That's the little rocks in there, so to speak.
Yes, sir, yeah.
They're
I could
the
probably
same.
have cleaned that up a little bit with my
They're the
hat.
same, that was my question.
Yes, sir.
But yours is, your proposal, they all be an aggregate as of right now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How deep are the ponds?
That's to be determined. We haven't got out there with a boat and surveyed it or anything like that.
Are they going to be kept clear?
Yes. Yes, they want these ponds to be an attraction for the site. I think right now, if you look at it on aerial, there's some some overgrowth and things like that they plan to clean up the banks, maybe reclaim some land, and these ponds, we haven't done the drainage impact study yet, but they will also be utilized for detention and some aspects like that.
From a safety standpoint, if there are people going to be in the pond, you need to have some things set up to rescue someone if they get into a problem. There's no dock. I see no provision for any safety.
Say yes. Yeah, well, as far as safety of the pond, I think when they dress up the banks and things like that, generally, where people entering the pond and able to get out, you have a sustainable slope, not only for erosion, but then also for people to be able to get in and out. So you don't want anything that goes straight down. But as far as there's no plan for a dock right now, and I don't think they are planning on any other attraction to the ponds other than fishing or aesthetic value.
I had a question, please.
Yes, sir.
On the front 8 or 9 lots on the right side, you showed it 25.6. Is that from the center of the road?
Yeah,
There's a buffer where I'm not sure, the right of way is 30 feet, so it'd be 15, so are we showing more of a 10-foot buffer there?
Yeah, so you're correct there. There is a road there, and the property, does go to what is a parent center line of the road. We'll do some fine tuning of the survey of where exactly the asphalt is and things like that. But we're 25 feet off of the property line of what's proposed now. 25 and a
Center
half.
of the road.
What's that?
So he's saying the property line is the center of the road.
Yeah, that's based off the survey we received. Yes.
I don't, Miss Kathy, y'all may be able to help me too. Is the road considered part of the buffer, or is it supposed to go to the outside?
But ordinance doesn't.
Yeah, it's 25 foot from the property line.
Parking, drainage,
exactly.
utilities within the buffer.
Yeah, we're not proposing any vertical structure there, any permanent vertical structure there either.
If the fence is within that buffer, then you're not going to have.
Yeah.
RVs.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the one area. Yes, we're proposing a fence along there.
I don't understand, if you got according to this, you got a 30-foot right-of-way belongs to the parish. Then you got 18-foot parish asphalt, it's a parish road. How can the center line of the property be in the middle of a parish asphalt road? I don't think so.
Yes, sir.
You will find the pin in the actual asphalt.
Well, I know, but how can you do that? I mean, if the buffer is from the property line, if you're 30 foot right-of-way belongs to the parish, that's where the buffer line starts, at the right-of-way, edge of the right-of-way, not the center of the road.
No, at the
Yeah, a
property
lot of
line.
times the nails in the roads can be lot lines, but that doesn't mean they own that.
Yeah.
The right of way, it belongs to whatever the local law.
They possess it, but don't actually own it.
Are you waiting on an answer from me?
I think that is the
I was
answer.
just making sure.
Answer my question, but the right-of-way on any parish road is the right-of-way of the side of the parish road. It doesn't start to the center of it. That ain't the way you do building line setbacks on parish roads or anything. It starts at the edge, at the right-of-way, not the center of the asphalt. If it's asphalted, it's the parish road. It belongs to the public. It doesn't belong to the individual no more once it's asphalt.
Yeah.
I just want to bring that up. I understand what you're doing.
Yes, sir. I'm just showing the boundary.
It's an asphalt
deeded-
road, and
the
it
deeded
belongs to the
boundaries
parish. It
in
belongs
the
to the
courthouse.
parish, not the individual landowner anymore.
Yes, sir.
That's my opinion.
Any other comments?
Yeah, you said this is going to be an attraction for fishing. I mean, are you going to dredge these ponds? Are they silted up? Are they going to have a fishing pier? Because if you don't have, an attraction like fishing around here, you got a basketball court and a swimming pool with all these trailers around it, or RVs. Is it intended to be one of the attractions to be fishing? Because that is a major attraction when people go camping.
Well, I think that, yes, they are going to do some work on the ponds to answer that question. There will be a fishing opportunity, but I don't, and along with other attractions, people like to camp. People like to go and stay in campgrounds and hang out with their, friends and family. So I think that's the main attraction.
I met with the owners or talked to them several times about it, and from my understanding, these ponds are kind of famous in our area for white perch fishing. And to my understanding, their plans are they're going to muck out the ponds, get everything up running, put a fountain in the middle, and actually stock them with some hybrid white perch. So I think they are trying to attract some fishermen.
Well, yeah, and that may be the case. And we could ask, the owners are here and they could speak to their plans. But, as far as the engineering and proposal of what we have before us, I could speak to that.
Yeah.
If you look at it, pickleball courts,
There's only 4 of these allowed to be active at a time. If you turn yours inactive, press the button.
how about that? That working? Thank you. I'm hollering, huh? There's pickleball, there's basketball, there's a dog park. Me, myself, that'd be plenty enough if it was hot and I didn't want to go fish.
Not to mention,
So I don't
Nature
necessarily think it's
Yeah, like
required
that.
that you got to catch a fish. They got plenty of things to do, just like we said, as far as just sitting there. So I don't have a problem with fish biting or not. They got other things we can do, so.
Well, and it does go back to the fact that if it meets the ordinance for what they're trying to do, the activities don't fall within this body. So, does anyone else have a question, or do the owners, would they like to make any comments? If you would, thank you.
How you doing?
Hi.
This specific piece of, my name is John Ponder.
I'm sorry,
So I'm one
and
of
if
the
you'll sign in,
owners.
please.
Okay, I got you. So I own it with a partner, Chase Landry right there. And I just want to tell y'all that I'm a camper. I'm an avid camper. I have a Class A RV. I just got back from 2 weeks in Florida. I've been to the Grand Canyon. I've been to Yellowstone twice, Grand Tetons, just everywhere, And this is, this piece of property has been in my family for around 50 years. You know, the ponds right now, just answering y'all's questions, the ponds right now are not in good shape at all. They're probably the worst I've ever seen them in my life. You know, but like Mr. Craig said, I mean, it's known for white perch fishing. But I was wanting to let y'all know that this isn't our intentions for this RV park. It's not to have a place like Reunion Lake, you know, or Fireside. This is going to be a really family-oriented thing. Like the top 5 things that we're trying to target on this RV park, you know, we're going to have 50 feet in between each one of the, in between the pads. Like, I don't know, this isn't a parking lot type of situation. Plenty of trees to go to, 50 feet in between pads. I don't know if y'all camp at all or anything, but you know, a standard's like 30 feet in between the pads. This is 50 feet, trees, wooded. You know, we are planning on, we've talked several times about actually building some docks out there and encouraging fishing. You know, from a liability standpoint, we're probably not going to do anything as far as like water activities, like boating and things like that, because the insurance cost is extremely high on that. We really want to create a place, you know, we have bike paths for families to go around. We really want to create a place in Albany that's more family oriented, you know, type of campground or whatever. And I think this is going to be a great project for the town of Albany, you know, and the businesses in Albany, you know. And anyway, I just want to let y'all know that we're not trying to get up here and have a swim up bar and a whole bunch of people drinking. We're trying to have a nice family-oriented places where you can sit your camper and watch your kids ride their bicycle around this pond on a nice improved trail, you know, and that's really what our objectives would be. Strawberry Lane, you know, we are fencing Strawberry, even though we're not required by parish ordinance to fence against Strawberry Lane. We're putting a fence up there. We want to be good neighbors to the public around us. You know, and we really want to, that's our mindset going into this. When we originally got these plans drawn up, there was about 130 sites on this plan when we got them. And now there's 84 sites on them because they were too close together. So that's the perspective that I want the council to realize, is that, you know, that's our mindset going into this thing. This isn't a cookie cutter, you know, parking lot. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to make something, you know, more family oriented. So anyway, that's all.
Okay, we appreciate your comments and your
if y'all have
insight
any
on.
questions or anything for me. Okay, well, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
And no other comments. Okay, that close the public hearing. Okay, if there's no other questions, can we hear, Morgan, your thoughts?
Yeah, all of my comments have been addressed. We would recommend approval.
And Natalie with planning, you're going to handle that?
The ordinance, we're good.
Okay, all right. And no one's here for legal, so anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Mr. Guidry and Mr. Watts, second. We call for a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Watts? Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
I abstain.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Yes. Okay, that item has passed. Now, number 7, we have a public hearing. I'm going to open the public hearing for Delia Street water well. And state your name and write it down.
Yeah, good
for
evening.
us,
Shane
please.
Guin with High Tide Consultants. I'm here tonight for a 0.92 acre preliminary and final site plan approval for a well site, water well site. This well site will consist of a groundwater well that'll be drilled. It'll have a ground storage tank and a booster pump system to help us move some water in that area. So if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them.
How deep and how much is it going to cost?
Depth is probably going to be anywhere from 2,700 to 3,300 is what we're looking at. Cost, we haven't gotten that far yet. It's not going to be cheap.
Your outcropping is going to be north of Brookhaven then?
we haven't, probably, I don't know about that, but we can find out for you. But we're trying to get to that depth to where we can get away from some of the iron and manganese issues.
All of our comments have been addressed. This one is on here twice because it's the preliminary and the final. So they meet the exception for drainage because they didn't increase the impervious surface of this site. It's just a small site. So they can do both steps at this time because they don't have to do a drainage impact study.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We vote. We vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Take the vote.
You good?
Yeah.
You doing good?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Okay. Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax?
Yes.
Mr. Dana?
Yes.
Mr. Burns?
Yes.
Ms. Ferris?
Yes.
Ms. Long?
Joshua Daniel, servitude revocation. Is anyone here to speak on this?
How y'all doing today? Cody from Alvin Fairburn Associates. Just here to answer any questions y'all might have. Yeah, so when we originally submitted the map, my CAD Tech guy thought, like normal, we put the servitude all the way on against the property line. In this case, there's a big existing concrete slab. They used to have a mobile home on it. The guy that bought the lot up in the front, part of the agreement, they wanted that servitude to the right so he could ever put a big metal shop or a shed or something on it, he could use it. So they built the road to the right of that. So now we're just moving the servitude where it's supposed to be that follows the existing road for all the lots to access back there.
All right. Any comments, Morgan?
This one's actually reviewed by the planning office.
Okay. Natalie?
We have no comments. We have all the utility, no objection letters and no objection letters from all the property owners.
Okay, so all the utilities, that was my next question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so no objections. Any comments or questions from the commission? Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes, sir.
60-foot servitude, I understand, but you got a 30-foot servitude coming in.
That's existing. That was already there long before we ever subdivided the property.
So you didn't add that. That was already there.
Correct.
So when you expanded to a 60.
Correct. To meet the current ordinances.
I would ask the engineer, is that permissible? I mean,
The ordinance requires 60 foot, so yeah.
does it require the 60-foot coming into the servitude?
If you're
No.
talking about the 30-foot existing,
Should the 30-foot be expanded to 60-foot? Does the ordinance address that?
no. If it's existing, it can stay 30.
If it's existing already? Okay. Answers my question.
All right, any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second it.
Mr. Clemens and seconded by Mr. Engler. If you will take a vote, please.
Mr. Engler?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Mr. Guidry?
Yes.
Mr. Wax,
Yes.
Mr. Dana,
Yes.
Mr. Burns. Yes. Ms. Ferris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes.
Hi, Kyle Hagler with SJB Group, the project engineer. We are here proposing, or with the final site plan for the proposed Dollar General on Highway 16 in the northern part of the parish. It's a 10,640 square foot building. We have on-site treatment for sewer as well as a dry detention basin to accommodate the runoff to meet ordinance requirements. You guys had any questions? Happy to answer.
Any questions or comments from anyone? Morgan?
All of our comments have been addressed, and we've gotten approvals from other entities, Drainage District and everything. DOTD, we'd recommend approval.
Okay. Natalie, Planning Department?
The planning department is good also.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? If not, if anyone would like to make a motion.
I'll make the motion, accept. I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Watts, and seconded by Mr. Engler. And if you would take the vote, please.
Mr. Engler,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clemens,
Yes.
Mr. Watts,
Yes.
Mr. Guidry,
Yes.
Mr. Wax,
Yes.
Mr. Dana,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Ferris,
Yes.
Ms. Long.
Yes. And that item passes. Number 11 was removed and canceled. So we have no parish attorney here tonight. So review engineer, any comments?
No comment.
Okay, and planning department comments?
No, ma'am.
And anyone else on the commission, any comment? Yes, sir.
Do we have time to hear from the Master Plan Review Committee? Member here ready to present?
It's not on the agenda, so.
If the presentation is a recommendation that the commission has, at that point, we could consider it, and we could vote to put it on the agenda for the next time at that point. But she does need to at least present it to us, and at that point, we put it in the system and do it according to the law.
Okay, I guess if we use it as just comments from, we can go from there, because I would like the planning director to be here too when we move forward, so. All right, well, who's going to be doing, all right. Aren't you glad we can do this since you came and went to all this trouble?
Relieved. Good evening. My name is Sabrina Petrie. I'm doing it right over here. I do have a packet that I'd like to give y'all so y'all can look over it as well as I go over it. Okay. So I'm part of the Master Plan Committee Review Committee. As mentioned in the recent Parish Council, recently WSP is the firm that will be assisting Mr. Fournier with the Master Plan update. Realistically speaking, it should most likely take several months to finalize. To expedite this update and to save taxpayer money dollars, the committee has been working on updates to the Master Plan based on current public data. Please keep in mind the importance of the credibility of websites utilized. .gov websites were utilized, not .org, because .org can be used for any professional social entities, any charities and nonprofits. So it all is from the U.S. Census. The population chart is the first batch of charts that are available for the update. Exhibit 1, it looks like this right here. This is an actual page from the master plan, the current master plan. That way you can look towards to relate the information to. There's 4 illustrations presented. The first chart, which is titled Population of the Parish Over the Past Century, that's this top one right here. I believe that it should be updated with Exhibit 2. So if you look at your documents that I just handed you, that second page, it looks like this. It says Livingston Parish population growth. That chart on the left-hand side, all of that is from the chart from the original master plan. However, the highlighted pieces are the updated pieces of information that's from the U.S. Census. And it was accumulated into a bar graph to the side, which could also be, that's Exhibit 3, which could replace this bottom line graph right here. So it has updated information 2020 and 2010, and this is from federal websites. And personally, I feel that this would help to save research efforts from the firm because it's literally right here in front of us and it's gathered together in front of y'all as well. You may notice that on Exhibit 3, oh wait, I'm sorry. Oh, let me fast forward that. If you glance on the diagram on page 9, this right here, you'll notice a parish projected comparison of the population. That's the colorful area right here, the green, orange, and blue. This is actually an incorrect visual. It shows that Livingston Parish has a higher population than East Baton Rouge, which is not correct. If you take a look at Exhibit, I'm sorry, I'm so nervous. If you look at Exhibit 4, this is an accurate depiction of the population comparison with East Baton Rouge, Livingston Parish, and Ascension. The chart on the left of it, this was obtained from the master plan, from the current master plan. The highlighted in yellow is what was added from the federal government. And then 2021 and 2022 is also added from the U.S. government, but would not be included in the projection just because the master plan showing it by decade rather than individual years. But that was just to show you where those years would come through, just to have it on there. And the last piece, or second to last piece, the diagram on page 9 of the current master plan shows that projection rate for upcoming decades. Exhibit 4 and 5 do not show those upcoming projection rates. However, that last page in the packet that I gave you, Exhibit 6 and 7, this does show a projection rate all the way to 2050. So the way this was accumulated, the previous years up to 2000 is from the current master plan. 2010 and 2020 was obtained from the U.S. Census. You can't see it, but hidden are rows 2021, 22, 23, and well, not 24 of current population rates from the U.S. Census. And there was a what's it called? The percentage rate was accumulated from that with a formula. Now this is considering that there's no catastrophic factors, such as like a hurricane or anything impacting it, because that we can't foresee. So these rates right here, the 19.8, 19.9, and 19.9, those are percentages of the increase rate for those decades. But this is the population projection. This could save a lot of time from the firms. And I know it's just a population projection, but this is literally, I mean, they have a lot to go over when it comes to like the ordinances and zoning. And these are pieces of information and data that's literally on public, on government websites that we can utilize to speed up the process. So this is just an introduction for the population update. If y'all have any questions or concerns or suggestions. Thank you. I enjoyed it.
Oh, we got 4? Okay, all right. Do what I said. I thank you for doing this. I want to point out on the last sheet, exhibit number 6, the population from 2000 to 2010 jumped from 128,000, significant jump. Basically, most of that was due to Hurricane Katrina. And you had an explosion of growth in the parish, people moving from New Orleans area into Livingston Parish. basically, that's what happened. But also, I don't see it on here, but in 2023, the census was updated in 2023 that Livingston Parish at the end of 2023 had approximately 149,000.
Okay.
Approximately. That's where it was at at the end of 2023.
Okay, and I don't have, so that would be a hidden row on here because this is by decades. So I have.
See it on there, did I miss it?
It's not going to be presented on here because the census is based on the decades. So if I was to go to the spreadsheet and open it up, you'd be able to see 20, 21, 22, and 23, and it should match exactly what you said. I promise I've
Well, they don't say
looked every day on
2023.
this.
Well, and on Exhibit 5, if you do look at 2022, it's up to 149, so.
I just wanted to point out it was 149,000, but you did verify that, huh?
Thank you.
Well, good.
Any other comments or questions? Yes, sir.
This is basically the first time that the Master Plan Review Committee has come with planning and zoning and making a recommendation. That is that we update a couple of the maps that's in the master plan. The procedure in state law is that we introduce it, we publicize what we're going to do, and the next meeting we could vote at that point in time after a public hearing. This is integral to the efforts for zoning. That's why we wanted to get a jump on this particular portion of it.
Right. Well, I do think excellent and very helpful and good information to have, and we'll just follow procedurally to make sure that everything's moves forward as it should. And we appreciate your time and efforts. And any other comments from anyone? Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we are adjourned.